Hello, guys. Jakob here, and welcome to the next episode of Automated Seller Podcast. Today, I have a special guest, Matt.
Hi there. Hi, everyone.
So, me and Matt met at Prospe Show in US. It's like one of the biggest conferences for Amazon sellers. So, Matt is a head of product at Xmars, which is the AI-powered platform for mastering the e-commerce advertisement on Amazon. But yeah, Matt, can you introduce yourself here to the audience and Xmars?
Yeah, sure. Happy to. I joined Xmars as head of product. We're developing a software solutions for especially Amazon sellers to automate their daily ads operations. So thinking about like bidding, budgeting, keyword harvesting, keyword negating, all that stuff. Before Xmars, I was actually in the e-commerce space for a while. Before Xmars, I was also head of product and also analytics at an Amazon aggregator called Nebula Brands. And before that, I worked at Amazon actually in the Seattle office. I was the global head for brand registry enrollments. So that's pretty much about me.
That's nice. I can see the pattern here that it's either like when you run a software as a service or company related to Amazon, usually the pattern is that first you either worked at Amazon or you were like a successful seller. So
Yes.
that's really cool. How long did you work for Amazon?
Not too long, a year and a half. Yeah, I joined there as a product manager. That's kind of where I
Hmm.
spend my most of my time in e-commerce as a product manager, as a tech person. Yeah.
Got it, got it. And what was your inspiration to joining the Xmars? How did you become like involved there as a PM? Sorry,
Yeah.
not PM, but product lead.
Yeah. So I joined Xmars really. It wasn't too long ago actually. It was about like 4 months ago when I first joined Xmars. Um, at the time, because I was an Amazon aggregator, so I have some experience managing an ad operation team, like Amazon PPC ads. And I was getting to this whole like weed of making sure we change our bids or making our budget allocation, all that stuff, like a daily operation stuff. And I was actually leading the team, also making like doing automations. We're constantly thinking about ways automating away some of the repetitive work. And then this opportunity came up, that Xmars is actually developing a software. It has actually been developing this for like a year and a half at the time, but it is also going to the U.S. market. That was last year, the end of last year. So I got very, very, very much interested in because I have some operator experience. That's a lot of software guys that they don't have, like don't actually a lot of software guys they don't actually have operated in the space before. So I'm one of the few that actually operated as a seller in the past. And I thought to myself, well, this could be a great opportunity for I have enough engineering resource because we're a software company, right? So much more engineering resource than I was at a seller to actually make this not just working for myself, for my team, but also working for the industry, right? So that's
Hmm.
kind of the inspiration early on because I really want this thing to work. I really want to build an automated solution to take over
Hmm.
managing the daily PPC operations.
Yeah, yeah, that's really nice. And would you consider actually Xmars to be like that can fully replace typical Amazon advertisement agency, or it's more like a tool that such agency or seller can use?
Yeah. So we don't consider fully replace the entire like Amazon PPC work. It's not our purpose. It's not our approach. Rather, we're calling this an augmented approach, which basically means that for an ad manager, especially Amazon Ads Manager or even marketing managers that are going to use our software, um, they're going to augment part of that work to the tool. So, like, think about again those four things, right? Bidding adjustment, budgeting adjustment, keyword harvesting, keyword negating. Those things are the things that we're focusing on using AI as a solution to help automate or augment. The remaining of the work, including, for example, like creative or setting up strategic goals or drive incremental sales together with promotions and other marketing activities, those things that we just don't think can ever be automated away. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why we're taking this entirely different approach. We're calling ourselves augmented AI versus like automation AI.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And yeah, let's talk about the AI a little bit more. So when it comes to Xmars and AI components, what kind of algorithms or technologies does it leverage to optimize the advertisement on Amazon? Like, how does it work
Yeah.
there?
So yeah, so under the hood is a fairly complex system, but you can think of maybe I will try to simplify this. Maybe three main algorithms or three main systems that are working together to achieve the goal. There is a machine learning based model where we constantly calculating the correlations between different metrics. Those include CPC, your ACOS, your budget, your conversion rate, all those like the most important metrics that you would think of when doing Amazon PPC ads. And then of course there's this rule engine, which is built based on like a fairly complex number of like almost like a tree structure, right? What would you do if this thing get triggered, and what actions to take? And that is based on a lot of the top industry experts that we're able to hire as
Mm-hmm.
in the team to assemble that like expert rule based system. And then we also put on top of that a risk control system where we basically make sure for any actions that the system generated through the AI, through the machine learning algorithm and a rule-based automation algorithm, we make sure those things they don't hit our risk management threshold. So basically, making sure we're not
Mm-hmm.
making any risky moves unnecessarily.
Mm-hmm.
So three systems working together all the time, and then it also consumes like real time data that makes that kind of you know you know describes our whole underlying algorithm for AI.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the more data, also the better, I believe. Like initially,
Oh yeah.
when you were lacking the data, it was probably hard to train the AI.
Oh yeah, so it's a very similar to a lot of the other AI systems where it's garbage in, garbage out, right? Less data, so less accurate output. For us, it's extremely important to have some like high quality data or initial data, so for the system to learn, and then gradually with the results, the feedback loop that the AI system will adjust and making better decisions. So it won't be this magic system where you once you turn it on, you will see ACOS go down, or of course that's kind of the where we hope this thing will be. But
Yeah.
normally it will take a few days to learn, and then after maybe a week or two, you will start to see that result.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Got it. Got it. And I wonder, like, this is just like an extra question since AI right now is really booming in the world. So there's a lot of people just using this keyword without really thinking about it. But I wonder, since right now all of like many new models are getting published to the world, and you can like use them pretty much using the API. Have you considered using some of the new tools which are made, I don't know, for example, by OpenAI, and
Yeah.
use them at Xmars, or you just have your own like models trained and you don't need them?
Yeah, so the key difference between our model versus, like, for example, OpenAI's model or whatever, like Google's model, is that those models are focused on text versus our models are focused on numbers, right? So those large language models, they're optimized based on the input, the prompts that you give them, and then also based on all the huge amount of data they consume over the internet. They give you this kind of almost like a made up answers based on a lot of like text data. which is fundamentally
Mm-hmm.
different from ours. Our model consumes your conversion rate, your bidding, your CVC, your pricing, all those data. Those are
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I make this analogy, which is you can think of our models almost like a stock um, um, trading algorithm, where you have
Mm-hmm.
a highly competitive market. People are bidding on different price to get to trying to get that margin right to
Yeah.
outperform the other guys on the market. That's the stock market, right? So it's not 24/7, but it's almost like real time, right? It's like constantly making your bids and making your trades.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar with the Amazon bidding system, where everyone bids on advertising placement,
Mm-hmm.
except that we all bid different prices and trying to get the best conversion rate or the best ROI that can get from it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very very different algorithm if you consider the kind of data they consume and also the
Yeah.
environment they are in. Large
Mm-hmm.
language model are more static, right? They consume data from a certain period of time. We consume data more in real time and then make real
Mm-hmm.
time adjustment based on that real time data. So it's actually quite different.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
going back, because for the bidding, I don't think the current developments in AI space, especially with large language models, can actually improve or have any influence over bidding. But it will definitely have a lot of like indications or implications for, like, for example, choosing better keywords or optimizing your listing, or even
Yeah.
with some of the image models, right? Get better product images. I think those things are something that we're always actively looking at and see whenever the time is ready and also our customer really wanted it, we can start to implement those. But right now we're very focused on figuring out and continuously improve the bidding system, the game that
Totally.
we're playing right now.
Totally.
Yeah,
No, that's definitely much better strategy to just focus on your strengths and not go with the trend to all of the other stuff. But I just wanted to ask this question. I was just curious, but you're right.
yeah,
You're right. That's totally different game. And regarding the ChatGPT, the language model, I mean, if you just Google Amazon automation or Amazon AI, you will see all kind of examples that you just mentioned, right? Mostly about listing optimization when it just writes the text for you. So that's really
yeah,
interesting. But
yeah.
let's focus on Xmars again. So I'm really wondering if you are like the seller and you decide to start using your software instead of, I don't know, working at with some agency or just running ads by your own, what kind of benefits user can expect?
Yeah. Number one, we expect customer to see their performance improvements. So that include both the reduction in A costs or rise in your ROAS, or sales increase, right? But ideally, you should see both, right? Sales increase with also A cost reducing. That's kind of the most ideal cases. Number two is that you can start to think about more long-term strategic stuff rather than focusing on daily operations, like making bid adjustment. Because again, a lot of the teams today are already thinking about like using rule-based automation to automate away or augment away some of the repetitive tasks. But you can think of us as this a much more advanced version of rule-based automation, but with far more rules and also machine learning on top of that, to constantly looking at real-time data to making those adjustments. I used to tell customers who kind of coming from rule-based automation to our platform, is for some of the accounts that we make thousands of moves, like larger account, we make thousands of moves every single day.
Mhm.
Just humanly, it's just not possible.
Yeah.
But if you were to achieve that with rule-based automation, you probably have not just one rule-based automation. You probably have a lot of rule-based automation. That over time kind of creates its own complexity, right? Because once you have over 10
100%.
different rule-based automation, you start to get lost.
And you need
Um,
to maintain them, right? I mean, or
yeah,
change them over time. You can't just run one rule-based automation over time. You need to adjust it. So there's still a lot of manual input, I would say.
Exactly. So that's kind of like rule-based automation. I think it definitely still have its place in today's kind of like at operation space, because a lot of people are still like using that. But I think over time, eventually, this will be become an AI algorithm or a system that not just looking at those few like metrics or factors to trigger those rules, but rather a much more complete set, a more holistic look at all of your parameters and making decision based on all of that. I think that should be where we should be going.
100%. I think it's quite similar, but correct me if I'm wrong, of course. But I think it's quite similar case with reprices, right? It's kind of similar. You have to always analyze your competitors and adjust the price to it. And I've built some very simple reprices myself, but they were all based on the rules. Or like later on, I think, because we've been building this for Yale University for professors, and I just built the logic which kind of reprice the item itself, because obviously just working with API, that was like a huge challenge. And then the professors, they were actually building the algorithms. And I think they were initially building algorithms actually, which are just base rules, but then they were introducing some behavior algorithms. I would even say AI. So I think it's similar game, and definitely once you run those scripts, it's either AI or either some rules. You'll just always win with the human factor. Like it's a numbers game at some point. You cannot just manage thousands of listings.
Yeah, totally. I think pricing is also this space where it's already being automated in some ways. Like there are quite a few technology solutions for pricing automation, but also at the same time, as you said, right, there is it's not going to be just based on a few rules. It's going to be based on a number of different factors, right? Looking at competitors, looking at the market conditions, and also maybe looking at your own inventory and all those factors taking into consideration. It's going to be important, because I used to also, funny enough, I used to run the price, like a pricing elasticity score, for like when I was working at Amazon aggregator, and try to optimize our pricing based on the marketing conditions, because every day we're seeing differently, right? The customer behave differently, reacts different prices differently. We're trying to optimize based on the pricing elasticity. So that's like one of the things that when we talk about pricing. So yeah, it's a fairly complex issue. You can't just rely on a few rules. It's going to be a lot of factors being taken into account.
100%. And now regarding the changes that Amazon does and latest trends, like how does your AI or like your whole system pretty much stays up to date with the changes?
Yeah, so Amazon is continue. First of all, it's continually improving its flexibility. Like for example, it is adding um, new placement multiplier for new to brand (NTB) for sponsor brand ad type, and then it is also adding actually DSP API very soon. And all of those things point us to a direction where we're in the future, or maybe in the near future, we're not just going to look at sponsored ads data. We're also going to look at like AMC data, which stands for Amazon Marketing Cloud. And then those going to include, like, for example, new to brand metrics, right? And also include metrics around your customer your customer base, like how much they spend, what's their average spending price. And then once those data become available, you will make not just DSP ads, but also your sponsor ads much more efficient. And so we're moving towards that direction by working with Amazon very closely to identify the use case and building the tool to put them into advertisers' hands, so that the no longer just looking at the bidding, the PPC metrics, but also looking at customer metrics, retail metrics that'll help them, just become more efficient or improve their ad performance.
100%. That's really interesting. And I wonder actually, are you not like scared, let's say, that at some point, because I don't know, maybe it already exists and it just sucks. I've never put like ad on myself, pretty much on Amazon, so that's why I'm asking. But I remember when I was creating ads, for example, for Facebook, that at some point there was this button. I can't remember what was the exact name, but it was like automatically adjusting the ad for the audience and so on. So it was kind of just it was taking care of itself, and I didn't have to do anything at all. And I wonder, uh, like, how does it work by default on Amazon? If you just run ad on your own, does Amazon provides you with some smart like bidding or something like this? Or that's why you pretty much created the Xmars platform, because there was nothing like this?
Yeah, so Amazon has an auto campaign where basically you just define the, the goal, and then they will find keywords for you. But we all know auto campaign alone is not enough, right? You need to build
Hmm.
manual campaigns to have exact keywords, product targeting, phrase, broad keywords, just to make sure that we don't leave money on the table. But also at the same time, I know there are other platforms who are automating this. But at least like for Amazon, I don't think this is going to happen in the short term, maybe not
Hmm.
even in the midterm, because for Amazon, they still want this to be a marketplace, right? So which means you want to be fair, so that everyone competes on an open, fair marketplace, and that includes ads, right? It's not just third party
Hmm.
selling; it includes
Hmm.
ads. So if Amazon comes in, take over the whole bidding work, or taking over the whole like ads, it becomes almost this black black box where you give some money to Amazon, and they decide how much impressions or how much clicks they give it to you, but you don't actually have control over, right, how you want to bid it. I just don't feel like this is the direction Amazon wants
Yeah.
to go. Let's hope they don't go for that direction, because
Oh yeah.
in that case, then the biggest loser will be advertisers, because we no longer compete, right?
Yeah, but
And I, yeah,
it's no
so
wonder that Amazon is not really fair. I mean, definitely that this case shouldn't exist, right? This would be just terrible. But for example, like, I know that Amazon right now can take your business pretty much within one day. I mean, what I've seen is that when someone is running like very popular brand, very interesting product, that Amazon can easily steal the product and create
yeah,
something very similar,
I see.
literally, which looks one to one. And then I don't know, pretty much, I believe you are also familiar with this, but once Amazon is starting its own products, they're usually above the products made by sellers, like put by sellers. It's like
Yeah,
complete, literally not fair. I've been reading some papers about that, because
yeah.
some universities did research on those Amazon brands, and it's super unfair what Amazon is doing with its own products.
Yeah, I do see some of those reports too. I remember there's a brand that I really love. It's called Peak Design. They even made a video mocking Amazon making a similar product that they do. That video went viral on YouTube, by the way. I forgot what kind of product it is, but like check Peak Design basically.
Hmm.
Um, so from because I used to work at Amazon, maybe I give you my kind of my point regarding this topic. So at Amazon, the retail team and the third party marketplace team are separate teams. They're under completely different organization, and data are not even shared between those two
Hmm.
teams. That's at least to what I knew. So the incentive for the retail team to kind of um, compete on a marketplace, of course, is very high, right? They want to make sure their product are successful, so they will do everything they can within that framework, right, to either copy others' product or whatever. Um, um, but the marketplace team at the same time also try to keep a fair competitive environment, right? Because they do have a policy, very strict policy, that data won't be shared between
Mm-hmm.
these two teams, because that would be unfair, right? We
Yeah.
consider Amazon consider the Amazon brands or Amazon Basics or whatever, Amazon Essential, those are like a marketplace participants versus what is the marketplace. I will tell you why this in the future shouldn't be an issue, or at least will become less of an issue, which
Mm-hmm.
is, but this is really from my personal view, the most profitable business in Amazon is actually not even Amazon web service. It's not even AWS. It's actually Amazon Marketplace. But at Amazon, there is no organization that is called Amazon Marketplace. Well, it's a team, but it's like separate teams, because
Mm-hmm.
it's being separated by like an Amazon, like a 3P team, and then also the Amazon Ads team,
Yeah.
and also the FBAs and all that. Those are all separate teams.
Yeah.
But if you look at their profitability, they're the highest. Um, and then retail team, which is the Amazon Basics team, right? Those they're selling first party, not first,
Mm-hmm.
not actually they're not 1P. They're Amazon brands,
Mm-hmm.
white label Amazon brands. They actually constitute a much smaller business and which much lower profit margin.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't think it's in Amazon's long term interest to make money from its retail team, uh, kind of by sacrificing the fairness of the marketplace,
Yeah.
because that's where all of their profitability is coming from.
100%.
So I think in the long term, folks at Amazon are stupid. They're super smart, so they know which part of business is the most profitable. So they would definitely have the most incentive to keep that part of business fair and also friendly to all the marketplace participants, including
Mm-hmm.
sellers and buyers and partners and all
Yes.
that.
That,
So
that's very
that's my standpoint. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's no, that's very interesting insights. Actually, I haven't thought about it this way, but you're right. I mean, they can't just push those Amazon brands, otherwise people will be super mad. So they just push it a little, get the profit, but not enough that people won't will stop selling on Amazon. So
There's a fine balance, right? A long-term profit, a short-term profit, and all that balance they have to keep.
Yes, 100%. I wonder when it comes to also Xmars, because you also mentioned that it's really based on the data, and especially initially, it was quite hard to make it very optimized, like as the point that it's right now. But still, I'm wondering regarding like niches or specific products. Does it matter which kind of category or product you are selling, and will your software have like, I don't know, make better bids on specific categories?
Yeah. So we developed the algorithm to be entirely category agnostic, and also price agnostic. Well, pricing is actually one of the factors that we're taking into account. So it doesn't matter if you're selling a high ticket price item or a lower ticket price item. AI optimized based on those goals. So it's one of the kind of the inputs that we have to generate the optimal results. But given that said, one of the directions we're planning for this year and also next year is that as we of course we gather more data, we're looking at aggregated data, also the entire market data. We're also developing our algorithm to become more category adaptive. um, Basically, for example, if you're selling in a particular I don't know, like sporting shoes, let's take that as an example, the AI should be able to learn not just your PPC metrics, but also your competitors' condition, like competitive situation, and also the seasonality of that category. Those things will be taken into account as a
Mm-hmm.
separate factor. Because right now the algorithm is based on based on real time data, your CPC, your conversion rate, and then your seasonality. Those kind of
Mm-hmm.
issues are already baked into those
Yeah.
metrics. But we're hoping to have this additional layer of like almost like a second layer of metrics
Yeah.
where it talks about or speaks to its category specific situations, like seasonality, for example, the price.
This seasonality is actually really interesting concept that I haven't even thought about, but that's like really crazy. I mean, how AI will know that during Valentine's Day, I don't know, some flowers will be sold more, chocolates, and then for Christmas, I don't know, like Lego sets, right? This
Right.
is something really, really interesting.
Right now, I can totally tell you. I don't think. First of all, we're not doing that yet. We're not that smart
Mm-hmm.
yet. I have to confess. So it's like I don't want to make this AI like super like it's not there yet. And I don't think the competitors on the market are also doing that yet. Maybe some do, but not to my knowledge. Um, but this is going to be one of the directions this is going. But this kind of gets into the more strategic stuff, right? Because I think there are just so many informations that coming at you. There's bidding, there's conversion rate. Those are real time data. The human has a relatively short term memory, or human actually poor on memory, right? Computers are pretty good on the memory, right? Especially short term memory, right? You have RAM, like a super, you have large RAM. So when making those real time decisions, and also a lot of parameters coming at you, machine does a better job. But versus like, for example, seasonality, those are more strategic, long-term metrics. I actually think human does a better job, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. Um, and uh, um, and then we know, for example, human will know what's happening on social media. They know, like for Valentine's Day, what is going to sell, or what kind of category is going to sell better than what other category. Those information, of course, they can be quantified. They can be feeding to the AI, but those are more strategic, in my opinion, versus tactical. And I still think human making better decisions, or making better strategic decisions, because those kind of involves creativity into it too, right?
Yeah,
Because for
exactly.
example, I threw you a bunch of numbers. How do you make out of it? Especially those long-term strategic numbers. I just don't think like today machines will be able to kind of be able to tell the story based on those metrics yet.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it will be in the future, but I just don't think we're there yet.
100%, 100%. Yeah, I doubt also that any of the competitors would have such a powerful AI. It's almost impossible right now if I think about it. I mean, I would say ChatGPT does, but it's like again completely different model. So you cannot just combine those two models. There's like completely different data and
Yeah,
algorithm. So no, no, no. I would say if someone says that it has it, it's probably people behind it who are doing it
yeah,
manually. So
yeah,
that's like the
totally.
best AI.
Yeah,
But no, no,
absolutely.
I really like it. I would say I have like last question for you. Can you give us
Sure.
like a one big success story of a client who was using the Xmars?
Yeah. Well, I may not be able to give you the name because I need to, of course,
Mm-hmm.
check with the customer, make sure
100%.
they're okay. But we do work with a lot of large customers, and then we also notice that not all customers are acceptable of AI, or want to try AI in the very beginning. It's always going to be this kind of trust building process where you try a few campaigns, and then gradually increasing more campaigns, and then eventually, hopefully, we'll get there is where they will put most of the campaigns under AI autopilot so that they can focus on more long-term strategic stuff. I can tell you, some of the customers that we worked with achieve a really, really good results. So they are seeing both their ACOS going down and sales going up. And this is especially true for customers um, who don't have like a dedicated team managing their PPC ads like on a daily basis. Um, because we see in those cases they're leaving money on the table. Like for example, if you're not doing day parting, if you're not like allocating your budget on hourly basis, or you're not doing like the hourly bidding adjustments, you're leaving, I think, at least 10% of the money on the table. That is
Mm-hmm.
just one little thing that our AI does, is that we look at those numbers like on hourly basis because we have access to Amazon Marketing Stream data, AMS
Mm-hmm.
data. That's already streaming data. So um, So some of the customer we see crazy amount of improvements, like 40% ACOS improvements, like not 40% basis point, but 40%. For example, if you're like 10% ACOS, now it's reduced to 6% ACOS, like something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also we're seeing sales increase too. The customers who set a goal to increase their sales velocity, we see sales going up all the way to 80%. Like on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
We see those cases, but those are like the cases where we see good result. But in general, over 90% of customers see like improved results after
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks. If you
That's
give it more
great.
time, we're almost seeing much better results.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it has to learn over time. It's 100%. That's great. I mean, that was really informative session, like podcast. So thanks a lot, Matt. And do you
Yeah,
have
sure.
anything you want to share with the audience in the end?
Well, so so maybe one thing I can share is that currently we offer 1 month for free and no strings attached, no contract need to sign, no credit card even needed, just for the first month, because we really want to get everyone to, give it a shot and try to build that trust between AI, so that we can, kind of augment away those repetitive, in my opinion, really repetitive boring work, right? And then,
Yeah,
so that you can focus on more creative long-term stuff. So that's the direction we're going. So first month's gonna be free, no credit card needed, and then go to xmars.com. You can self-service sign up, and then you're ready to go.
that's great. Perfect. I will make sure to include the link also in the description of this video. It will be on YouTube. So yeah, Matt, thanks a lot for being here. Thanks a lot for sharing all of the insights and your story and Xmars. And yeah,
Yeah. Thank you, Jacob, for having me.
thank you. Bye bye.
All right. Bye bye.